Hello everyone and welcome to this video on the Python programming language. So in this video I will show you how you can retire within 10 years. Now there's a saying that if you invest over half of your income regardless of what your income is and get 8% per year return on your investments, then you will be able to completely support yourself in 10 years. Now I'm going to show you this with a few examples using real data. So I'm currently on Google's website called colab.research.google.com, and I'm on it because it makes it really easy to start programming in Python. So all you have to do is go to this website and then log in using your Google account and get started writing your Python code. So go ahead and click on File, then click on New Notebook, and a new tab will open up for you, and then eventually a new cell to get started writing the program. Now before we begin, if you like the videos on this channel, then be sure to click that subscribe and like button, and to be notified about new videos from this channel, hit that bell notification. And the material in this video is purely educational and should not be taken as professional investment advice, as I am not a financial advisor. So please do your own research before making any sort of investment. Okay, so with all that being said, let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing that I'm going to do is import some libraries that I need. So I'm going to import NumPy as NP. I'm going to import pandas as PD, and I'm going to import matplotlib.pyplot as BLT. And next, I'm going to create a new cell by clicking this code button here in the top left. And actually, I need to go back up here. I need to run this first cell. So I'm going to run that by clicking this button here to the left. And this will let me know if I made any mistakes. Okay, so next I'm going to create a few lists. And these lists will be used to create our data set. So I'm going to create a year list and then a yearly income list and a yearly expense list, and then a annual returns list. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this, and let's create a new cell. All right, so now we need to make a few assumptions. All right, so we're going to assume that your yearly income stays the same, meaning it doesn't go up nor down. So I'm going to create a variable called income, and I'm going to set it equal to, let's say you make $35,000 a year. All right, so I'm going to set it equal to 35,000. Next, I need to assume that you have to use half of your income for expenses, no more, no less, for the rest of your life. Okay, so expense equals income divided by 2. And of course, you know, there is inflation and things like that. So just keep that in mind. All right, so next we're going to assume you invest in let's say an ETF like the S&P 500 with an average of 8% interest per year. So let's get the interest rate. I'm going to create a variable called interest underscore rate. I'm going to set this equal to 0.08. All right, so that's 8%. And then I'm going to assume that you will invest the other half of your income. So I'm going to create a variable called investment, and I'm going to set it equal to income divided by 2. All right, next I'm going to calculate the annual return for the year. So let's create a variable called annual underscore return and set it equal to investment times interest underscore rate. And then I want to get the current year. So I'm going to create a variable called year, and I'm going to set it equal to 2021. Okay, so I think it looks good. I'm actually going to put some comments here. All right, so the first one was income. We are assuming that your, or here just put income is your yearly income. Expense is your yearly expense. And maybe I should put constant income, right? Constant. And your yearly constant expense. Okay, and then your average interest of 8%. Okay, per year. And let's see, and you can invest, you invest half of your income, and I'm just going to put calculating the annual return and getting the current year. All right, so I'm going to run this one more time. All right, let's go ahead and create a new cell. Okay, so now in this cell, I'm going to append the first values to the list that we created earlier. So I'm going to go back up here and I'm going to highlight all of, highlight all of this. Well, no, let's go back down here and let's just type year, and we do year dot append, and I'm going to append that year variable. Okay, so next I'm going to append the yearly income. So I'm going to append that first income variable, and then I'm going to append the yearly expenses. So let's see, is it yearly expense? Let's put expenses here with an S. So let's rerun this again. Let's put yearly expenses here. So yearly expenses dot append, I'm going to append expense. Okay, and then yearly investment or investments. Hopefully I put a S there as well. I don't have a yearly investment, so let me go ahead and create a yearly investments. Yearly underscore investments equals this. All right, so let's run this again, and let's come down here and create, or let's append to our yearly investments. So we're going to append investment here, and then annual returns, we're going to append annual return. All right, so I think that's it, and that looks pretty good. So let's go ahead and run this. I misspelled yearly here, so yearly with a Y. Let's go ahead and run this again. All right, so just to make sure, let's run this, and then let's run this here. Okay, so let's create a new cell, and now we're going to loop for n years. So n will be some integer value, and let's make n, let's call it invested underscore years, and let's set this equal to 20. So we're going to be doing this for 20 years. All right, so for I in range 0 to the invested underscore years minus 1, we're going to update the investment to be the previous investment plus the previous annual return plus half of your income, because we're going to be putting in half of your income every year. Okay, and of course you might say, well, why are we doing 20 years? I thought it was supposed to be 10 years. Well, we're still going to see later on that 10 years will be long enough for us to sustain ourselves off of just the returns of our investment. But I'm going to put 20 years here so we can just see a bigger range of data. That's all. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue with this. Update the investment to be the previous investment. So we're going to set investment equal to income divided by 2, right? Because this will be our current investment for the year. But actually I said we're going to update the investment to be the previous investment. So let's get the previous investment first. So that's going to be investment, and then plus the previous annual return. So we're going to add the annual underscore return plus then our income divided by 2, right? Because we're going to be investing half of our income. All right, so hopefully this isn't too confusing for you, and hopefully you're still with me. All right, so next I'm going to update the annual return to be the current investment times the interest rate. Okay, so we're just going to update annual return. We're going to set it equal to, again, the current investment now. So that's just investment because we've already updated it right here. So that investment times the interest rate. Okay, and then we just need to append these values to our data. So we're going to append the new data to the list. All right, so I'm going to come back up here and I'm going to highlight all of this and I'm going to copy using Control C, then come down here and paste it using Control V, and then just tap this over. All right, so let's see, let's increase the year. So the year will be year plus I plus 1, and the income is updated. The income will stay the same. The expense will stay the same. The investment has been updated, and the annual return has been updated. All right, so that should be it. Let's go ahead and run this. Let's create a new cell. All right, now what I want to do is I want to put all this data together into a data frame. So I'm going to create a data frame. All right, so I'm going to create a variable called df and set it equal to pd dot data frame, and then we're going to give it a column called year, and of course we're going to set that equal to our yearly, or to our year list. There we go. Yeah, and then let's create a column called yearly underscore income, and we're going to set this equal to our yearly income list, and then a column called yearly expenses. So let's set this equal to our yearly expenses list, and then a column called yearly underscore investments, and we're going to set this equal to our yearly underscore investments list, and then a column called annual underscore returns, and we're going to set this equal to our annual returns list. And I think that should be it. So let's run this and let's create a new cell, and now let's show the data. So just type df here. Let's run this. Okay, so there we go. So now we have this nice data set, right? And we can see that the yearly income is $35,000 every year for 20 years. Or at least, let's see, we have, how many years do we have here? It looks like we have 20 years, right? So 2021, 2022, yes, all the way to 2040. Okay, so we can see the annual returns here on the right under this column called annual returns, and it looks like after, is it after 10 years, let's see here, our expense is 17,500, and it looks like we can really live off of just our returns in about, yep, in about 10 years. So right here. Okay, but you might not be able to see this just through this data, so let's look at it more visually. Okay, so we're going to visually show the data. So I'm going to create a figure. So I'm going to type lt dot figure. I'm going to give it a figure size, and I'm going to set it equal to 12.2 by 4.5, and I'm going to type lt dot plot, and let's plot the year on the x-axis, and let's plot the yearly expenses on the y-axis. Let's give this a label. So we're going to call this yearly underscore expenses, and I think that'll be good enough. I'm just going to highlight this. I'm going to copy using Control C and then come down here and paste it using Control V, and then just change the y-axis to be the annual underscore returns. And let's change this here to be the annual returns as well. And let's give our plot some x ticks, and let's rotate them. So we're going to set the x ticks rotation equal to 45 degrees, and then I'm going to give this plot a title. So I'm going to type pt dot title, and let's just call this retire in 10 years. Okay, and let's give the x-axis a label. So just type pt dot x label, and this will be years. And then let's give the y-axis a label. So pt dot y label. I'm just going to put a $sign. Okay, and then I want each of the x ticks. So I'm going to type pt dot x ticks, and it will be the year. So df year. And then I want to show the legend. So pt dot legend. And then I want to show the plot. So pt dot show. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Let's go ahead and run this. And there we go. Okay, so this looks really good, right? So now we can see basically by 2029, which is still within 10 years, right? It looks like we'll be able to sustain ourselves, but actually what you want to do is you want to have a little bit over so that your investments can continue to grow, right? So by 2030, really, you will be financially sustained. So we can see this now in this nice plot, and I think that's really cool. All right, so let's go ahead and create one more cell, and we're going to show the year or row where you can live off of returns. Okay, so I'm going to just type df, where df dot yearly underscore expenses, yes, where that is less than or equal to df dot annual returns, and I'm going to show only the first row of data. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this. All right, so now we can see that in year 2030, or at least at the end of year 2030, the annual returns will be more than what we need for our yearly expenses. Okay, so what did I say earlier? Did I say it would be 2030? Okay, excellent. Alrighty, so that's it. That's some proof. Let's go ahead and change just a few things, right? So that was with a annual income of 35,000. Let's put 75,000 here, and let's just run everything. So click run time and then run all. And so with 75,000, is it within 10 years that we will be sustained? And the answer is yes. All right, and what year is that? Of course, that's 2030, and we can see our annual returns here, and that's with a yearly expense of 37,500. So this is pretty cool. You can just kind of play with all this data now. You can change your interest rate that you think you're going to get per year. You can continually change your annual income. So let's do 100,000. Let's go ahead and run all, and let's see. Again, this time by 2030, you're still good to go. So it's pretty interesting. I think this is very interesting, and I hope you all learned something in this video, and I hope that you really enjoyed it. That's the end of the video. If you would like to start investing, then click the link below to get 2 free stocks valued up to $2,300 on WeBull when you deposit $100 or more on their platform. Also, if you would like to support this channel or get the code in this video, then I will leave a link to my Patreon page in the description below for that. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.